welcome to Omaha, Nebraska. A beautiful night in the Metro for Big East Conference men's soccer. The first round of the conference championships between Creighton and Butler. 60s in November. Doesn't get much better than this. Alongside John Schreiner, I'm Thor Tripp. Two teams battling for postseason beyond this conference tournament, and two teams that know plenty about each other after playing just 1 week ago.
Yeah, Thor, this should be a fun one, a game that went to overtime a week ago. And as you said, not just for the conference tournament, but perhaps some at-large bids on the line here tonight.
Yeah, and Creighton able to host this game here tonight because they won that double overtime matchup with the Bulldogs back on November 2nd. Another home opportunity for them tonight, but in the first matchup, Butler got on the board first.
Yeah, and this is what Butler does. They score goals. They're going to allow some, but 27 goals in 17 matches this season. The Bulldogs can certainly put the ball in the back of the net. And in that one, Creighton created some chances of their own, including this one from Udai Toshiro. 4 goals in the last 3 matches for him. He's become a goal-scoring machine for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, just a bullet off of his right leg. He's been tremendous. 4 of the last 5 overall for the Creighton team. And on the other side, you see the fabulous freshman for the Bulldogs as well.
He's got to be one of the front runners for Freshman of the Year in this conference. And then Creighton able to just stab one home. Jake Ashford, first career goal, gets that double overtime thrilling win. And now we get a look at Wilmer Cabrera, the super freshman. 5 game-winning goals this season. He's 5th nationally in that category. When Butler needs a big goal in a big spot, it's usually going to be Cabrera. And on the other side, Udai Toshiro. I mentioned 4 goals in his last 3 matches. The senior from Tokyo, they're depending on him in a big match tonight.
Finishing up strong. We'll have more here from Omaha as Creighton hosts Butler in the Big East Championship quarterfinals. That's next.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Back here in Omaha, Nebraska, that quarterfinal matchup just about to get underway here. And this first round, well, part of the action today already in progress and wrapping up. Providence knocking off Marquette as you take a look at the brackets. So they will visit St. John's later on next week in the semifinals. The winner of this matchup between Creighton and Butler gets to visit Georgetown in Washington, D.C. That matchup will be at noon Central Time in the semifinals on Wednesday, and then the championship will be November 17th at 11 a.m. Central Time contest on FS2. That'll be at the highest seed as well. So starting lineups underway here, being introduced at Morrison Stadium. John, when you look at Butler's lineup, we already talked about Wilmer Cabrera. Who else stands out to you in this group?
Well, the other forward, Brandon Gould, you can't overlook him. He's a former second-team All-American. And then Jared Timmer in the midfield. This player, Jared Timmer, will control proceedings from his midfield spot for Butler. Keep your eyes on number 5 tonight in the midfield.
And Gabriel Georgie in goal, always a formidable test for anyone. When you look on the Creighton side of things as well, John, they get their starting goalkeeper back as well, and that makes this team and this defense feel entirely different for this squad.
Yeah, when you've got your anchor back there, the guy between the posts, and Paul Cruz, a preseason Big East goalkeeper of the year. You can't say much more than that, and to understand what he means to the team. But I think some of those wing players, especially Daniel Espeleta, needs to be big in this one tonight. Espeleta has the ability to run at defenses, break players down, and create things, and sending things back across the box for some of those forwards. Yeah,
offensively for this Creighton team, maybe not as gifted individually, but collectively they've been able to be more efficient with their offensive shots. They're not going to overwhelm you by just putting bullets on goal consistently, but they try to make the most of those opportunities they do get and really wait for the opportune time to strike.
Yeah, and again, it's a different team under Johnny Torres than it was in previous years under Elmer Bolovich. This is not the team that is just going to, press forward and fire 27 shots off in a game. It's a little bit different now. And, the defense has struggled a little bit, somewhat due to injuries. They've allowed, I think, 21 goals in 16 games now. That's third worst goals against average in the conference. So the defense on Johnny Torres' first year, it's been a little bit leaky, but they've done enough scoring goals to put themselves in this position. The offense has been strong enough. Yeah,
Johnny Torres leading the way here in his first season with Creighton, 8-6-2 this season. Of course, the former Blue Jay, the two-time National Player of the Year here at Creighton and Morrison Stadium. So certainly knows how to create success on his bench. And then on the other side, you've got Paul Snape in his 9th season, doing a great job trying to make his 3rd NCAA tournament in the past 4 years.
Yeah, Paul Snape, just a great guy, and he's done wonders for this Butler program. If you look at the Big East over the past handful of years, Butler's been right in it every year. He's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, both of those head coaches, former professional players themselves, so they know what it takes to get it done at the collegiate and professional level as we get underway here in Omaha. Early on, these two teams have a tendency to be a little bit less aggressive than they are in the second half. Both teams with significantly more shots on goal this year in the second half of games, so they like to open things up, kind of feeling things out, John.
Yeah, I think so, and it might be a little different tonight since they just saw each other a week ago. They may have a little bit better idea of what to expect and where to go with the ball. So we'll see if, that familiarity plays a role in this first half tonight.
Louis Bulger will have the throw in here for Butler. Controlled by Creighton back the other way. Up ahead all the way across the field. Flipping the field will be important tonight, and Yunus Boudadi with it on his foot. Down the side, nobody home in the middle of the box. And Butler will send it back the other way. Defensively, Luke Mitchell, John, we were talking about his performance this season as a young guy, coming in and helping control and stabilize this defensive group. How important has he been, and why has he been such a factor this year?
Well, he's just come in and been a rock at the back. You lose Julius Four before the season even starts to a career-ending injury, and then you're put in a situation where Connor Ramlow has to play a lot in the back, and Luke Mitchell, his first year on campus, he's just been really good. Been very solid and played above his experience level to some extent.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like he's a freshman back there when you watch him on the field. He passes the eye test, that's for sure, as a starter on the back end. Now moving up ahead for Creighton is Mitchell. Deep downfield, Engelking can't come down with it. And Butler will reset. Gorgeous night here, as we mentioned, John. Temperatures in the 60s today in November in Omaha. Very little wind on the field right now. Pitch is in great shape here at Morrison Stadium, and one of the best venues for college soccer in the country.
There's no doubt of that. And you mentioned the weather. It's considerably nicer than what it was Thursday night for the Big East women's semifinals that were right here. Game time temps below 30 in both of those contests. It's about 30 degrees warmer here tonight.
Yeah, fortunate for the two of us to leave the winter jackets on the chairs tonight and go without them, at least for the time being. On the attack now, the Jays moving across midfield. Kuba Polat gets it started now on the outside. Shot on goal saved by Georgie, but a nice job once again. Boudadi trying to finish off the run, but good transitional offense there by the Jays.
Yeah, it was a nice run down the wing from the fullback, Boudadi, getting in a good spot.
Header ahead from Udai Tashiro. And controlled in the back by Creighton once again.
Yeah, it's an interesting lineup tonight. Tashiro, the starting lineup is what it is, but you got Tashiro playing wide out on the left. He's normally a midfielder playing like an attacking outside back.
A little bit of a lazy pass from Tashiro, which you don't see very often, but now on the move is Luke Mitchell with the run outside. Creighton will set up its attack from outside of the box. Shot on goal is deflected and knocked out of bounds. Both teams lobbying for possession there on the transition, but Tor Troston unable to get one on net there for the Jays.
Yeah, it's a good find by Luke Mitchell. Troston had made a good run forward, and so far, Butler had a little trouble getting it out of their own end. They just haven't been able to make those connections from defense to mid to forward. Creighton's shown a tendency to press a little bit here in the early going.
Yeah, Troston whistled for the foul there. That's one thing that head coach Johnny Torres was talking about as you see a replay of Troston going after it.
And I personally don't think there's much in it.
I think at the back end there maybe.
It might be that second leg coming through is what they got him for.
But I know that Coach Torres was impressed the first time around with this team's aggressiveness and really will to win. They were coming off of a game against Providence where they didn't feel like they played very well leading up to that first Butler matchup. And so the aggressiveness leading to a win for them the first time around, I think that's something that he's been preaching to his team this week, to continue that style of play and really try to be a little bit more aggressive than they have been at times this season.
Well, listen, for Butler, it's right now it's just about weathering the storm, They've sort of battened down the hatches a little bit as Creighton's throwing everything up in attack here to try and get an early goal here at home. But if you're Butler, if you can fend off that initial thrust, parry, if you will, and there's going to be some opportunity as the legs get a little bit heavier here and as this first half wears on, Creighton's going to start to bring some players off the bench. Maybe they're not as sharp when they first come in. You find an opportunity. So it's important for Butler to just kind of stay the course here and not worry too much about not being able to create on attack right now.
Yeah, the injury issues for this Creighton Blue Jays squad, well documented throughout the season. But you're talking about really 4 players, off of the depth of this team. So when you start to dwindle down those numbers, that bench shrinks and shrinks in moments like this in the postseason, limits your options a little bit. On the move now is Bulger, drops it back and finds himself with it again. Back out to Timmer, who directs ahead. Nice swing there and nothing doing but Jack Haywood. He's the leading assist man for Butler this season, tried to get one of his own, but a nice stop by Paul Cruz to get his night started.
Well, it started with a great ball in from Jared Timmer, and then Gould with a nice little soft header sets up the strike for Jack Haywood. But that man, Paul Cruz, always behind it.
Coming off a career high with 9 saves against the number 1 team in the country last time out. I think it's safe to say he is working with a little confidence coming into this match. Out of play now, and we'll have a stoppage. But really the first opportunity here, as you see Cruz in the early going, the sophomore, missed time with injury this year. But you mentioned it, John, everything you need to know, the preseason keeper of the year after just a great freshman season. And he's shown in the limited time he has been on the pitch this year what he's been able to do.
He's a great shot stopper. He's going to get to most balls.
Hawkinson now. One hops the keeper. Another opportunity for Creighton. But a nice stop by Georgie. Let's take a look at some of the details for Butler's keeper as well. He's been fantastic, just over a goal a game against him. Handful of shutouts this season as well.
Yeah, Gabriel Georgie, also one of the best shot stoppers in the league. He's had 5 shutouts this season, really grown into that role as the lead man for Butler this year.
Creighton unable to generate a good opportunity there, but you see once again Tashiro in the mix, creating some havoc on that offensive third, and you just maybe don't see that all the time from him, given where his placement is in the lineup.
Yeah, he's normally in sort of that holding midfield role where he sits right in front of the two center backs and is kind of the creator along with Kuba Polot. But here late in the season, they've been forced to move him to outside back. So he's going to, Johnny Torres likes his outside backs to attack and get forward. You see it with Budati on the other side too. So you're not necessarily taking a player out of a role where he can score goals, and Tashiro's just found ways to do it from the different positions.
Arm up for offsides as Brandon Gould tries to sneak behind the defense. Gould, the leading goal scorer for Butler this season, getting a little greedy for number 9 there.
Well, he's slippery, Brandon Gould. He's so clever with that back line. Usually times his runs really well. And 28 career goals now, tied for 8th all time at Butler. Don't try to do that against him too many times. You got him once. You got to be careful going forward.
I tell you what, John, you talked about it earlier. This being the second meeting in a week, we've seen a lot of action in the opening 10 minutes, more so than really both of these teams are normally accustomed to.
Yeah, there's no feeling out. We've come out just throwing punches from the opening whistle.
That's what you like to see when it comes to the postseason as Butler tries to find an opening. Good job of pinching into the middle there by Hawkinson. Unable to come away with it, but really not much room to operate even on the back end for Butler thus far here tonight. Contact and a foul whistled there. Looks like it'll be on Gould.
Yeah, and Gould was not trying to play the ball. He took his eyes completely off the ball and just put a shoulder straight into the chest of Luke Mitchell. There was a clear and obvious foul. He was trying to run through the defender.
The kind of the equivalent in American football of the back shoulder throw there, as that pass was a little short of Gould. He had to slow down and really didn't have an opportunity to play the ball. Decided to grab hold of his shoulder instead. Called for a little too far. Kept in bounds there on the end line, but Butler will take over possession. Up ahead for Gould, but again, 3 defenders in the back. He's somehow able to sneak through, but things getting a little chippy here between Mitchell and Gould the second time around in the last few seconds, disagreeing with that offsides call.
And I don't think it was offside, Thor. I think they got Gould for another foul on Luke Mitchell. He's really trying to get inside the freshman's head right now. It's not a bad strategy. You got a freshman defender back there. You're an experienced senior forward. If you can just put him off a little bit back there, it might create an opportunity later in the match.
Hawkinson now dealing outside.
He's just got to try not to get caught.
Yep. That's always the best thing. It's not a foul unless you get caught,
That's right. Fouls are called.
Budati looking for somewhere to go. Not much room as he'll get it back now to Bryce Gibson. The Jays will flip the field. Tashiro with it now into the middle. Ronenberg back outside. Making a run is Espeleta.
Man, that's what I was talking about when we were looking at lineups with Espeleta. Those cutting runs when he cuts to the inside and creates that space outside for someone to run into. He's so good at doing that. And it was just unfortunate right there as it was Engelking who just couldn't quite control the touch. Looked like Creighton might have had something on.
Back outside now, Budati. Creighton taking its time, but really controlling possession here in the early going in this quarterfinal match. Budati now to the outside, a little long and out of bounds. Good run there by Trostin, but unable to catch up.
I don't think he's quite that fast.
Gotta love the confidence from your teammate, though, right? Georgie will settle things down. Nice job of the mentality being kind of amped up here from both sides as we've seen in the early going. You like to see that intensity. You don't want to see cheap shots or any of that, but you love to see that postseason, urgency from both squads, and we've seen that already in the opening 15 minutes.
Hey, It's win or maybe stay home.
Yeah.
Both these teams. Now we mentioned in the open, Thor, that might be some NCAA tournament at-large bids on the line here. And both of these teams, with a win tonight, we think could be close to that at-large bid. Butler certainly closer than Creighton with their RPI, but there's a lot on the line, and it's not just a conference championship.
Budati runs it down and keeps it on the line, so Creighton with a scoring opportunity here. Ronenberg looking for room. Espeleta around the left side. Now Hawkinson in the box and get a little bit too ahead of himself there. Good look, though.
Everybody on the field seemed to know it except Luke Hawkinson.
He kind of peeled around his defender and wasn't really looking for the placement of where everybody else was at. He was just trying to get to an open space and just jumped the gun a little bit. Hawkinson gets it right back, though, on the turnover. The Jays trying to take advantage of transition. Now Troston can't get around the defender, and Butler will take over.
Man, it's just a really good job out there on the edge. Hawkinson can be tricky.
The Jays will throw that back in. Gould again trying to sneak out ahead of everybody. Looking for that home run threat. He certainly qualifies for his career. 28 goals in 3 seasons with the Bulldogs after transferring from SMU. So he's been electric on the pitch for them throughout his career.
Well, you know who we haven't mentioned yet, Thor, is Wilmer Cabrera for Butler. He's just has not found himself around the ball very much here in the early going.
Troston now outside. Centers it in the middle for Polot, who's unable to control it. A missed opportunity for Creighton.
You'd like to see Polot just be a little bit more selfish right there. He's in a better position than the player he's trying to pass to. Just strike it. You never know where it's going to end up.
Almost an identical play to Shiro's goal that we showed, in the matchup last time between these two teams. Nearly the same spot, coming off a pass right there, but.
And I think that's just mentality for Kuba Polot. He's one of those midfielders that's mostly a pass-first guy. He's looking to create an opportunity for someone else before he does himself. And in that situation, you just want to see him take the shot.
Yeah, that unselfish mentality, part of the reason he's elected a co-captain for this Creighton squad this year. Sometimes, especially as a first-year head coach, when you transition from being an assistant, that's something that is difficult to communicate to your players as they emerge in different roles. Shot deflected out of bounds, and we'll have a corner kick here now for Butler, the first of the match.
Yeah, here's an underrated key for this one. Both of these teams give up a ton of corners.
Yeah.
So each is probably going to have their fair share of opportunities from the corner flag. If one of these two can score off one of those opportunities, that could be big.
Lining it up for Butler is Joel Harvey. Will come in from the left. Mid-post deflected by Cruz. And nothing doing for Butler on this opportunity. Cruz with his length just impressive in the box as you take another look at it. Contact there going into the body of Cruz in the net.
Yeah, and Butler was trying to press everyone, basically, that they had forward up to the goal line almost, inside the 6-yard box, just create confusion, hope for a scramble that goes their way, but somebody got a piece of Cruz as he was going up to collect it.
Butler trying to work its way out of its own end once again.
There's a young player to be excited about in the back. Just passed it out there. Perrin Barnes, a young player, center back. Young player to be excited about for Butler. He's
Really good player out of Aurora, played for Sockers FC, great club out of Chicago. He's a young man that's going to be around this league for a long time. An absolute anchor at the back for the Dogs this year.
Has some great young talent when you look at the back end and offensively with Cabrera. Something to look forward to here if you're a Bulldogs fan moving forward. Yeah, Budati pleading his case here.
Yeah, I think they were checking him for blood because he took a shot to the eyebrow. Just wanted to make sure he wasn't cut.
Yeah, see the Bulldogs and Budati with a quick high five. No harm, no foul there as that aggressive play continues here in Omaha. Perrin turns the corner now, back upfield for Butler. Into traffic and taken away. Ronneberg will reset in the middle. Back outside for Toshiro. Looking for space. Ronneberg into the middle, down the line for Hawkinson, who boots it into the middle with the left foot. Ronneberg with an opportunity there, contact in the box, but no whistle blown until Troston gets called for the foul, and you can see the reach there, the contact. He'll pick up a yellow card. Frustration there as Creighton unable to convert, and Troston trying to keep it in attack mode.
They call it the professional foul, Thor. He sees that Butler's got numbers going the other way with the ball as his team was advanced on attack, and he's got to do something to break up the attack. You'll see it. Look at this. I mean, there's only 3 players behind the ball for Creighton. That's a bad numbers matchup, and Troston takes a yellow card for his team to prevent the run out for the Bulldogs.
You just get the feeling that the first goal in a match like this, as Troston, a little bit of a grin on his face, knows that he did the right thing, but you just feel like that first goal is so big in a postseason matchup like this. Both teams fighting for their NCAA tournament lives. So much at stake. And all the work they've put in all season long to come to this point. That first goal really makes a huge impact when it comes to the momentum and also just the confidence and approach moving forward in this match.
Ashford's going to come in for Engelking, and this is a story from about 4 games ago. Jake Ashford was planning to redshirt, but due to some of those injuries, he pulled his red shirt. Player that was expecting to play in the back for Creighton this year, played forward in high school. He was, in fact, the 2-time Offensive Player of the Year in Kansas in high school. And you saw it. He hit that game winner from short range against Butler just a week ago. He's certainly one to keep an eye on, a young man that's been thrust into some action that he wasn't expecting to get at the outset of this season.
Cabrera weaving his way in and out of traffic. We talked about him coming into this match. He's been pretty quiet so far, but one of those players that has the ability to open things up at any given moment with the ball on his foot.
He's got a world of talent, Wilmer Cabrera.
Across into the middle, but nobody home, and Ronneberg boots it away for the Jays. Budati trying to hold his ground defensively. Cabrera again trying to weave his way through traffic, but Espeleta saves a scary moment there for Creighton. Back the other way to midfield. Espeleta unable to chase it down, but stolen away back the other way for Hawkinson. Ashford up ahead, but doesn't have numbers, so he backs it out. And Espeleta finds Pola. Back up ahead now into the middle. Another opportunity for Ashford, but unable to reach it on the slide.
That is such a good ball from Yunus Budati from the outside. This is a great look here from Budati. Look at that pass. That is right where you want it to be, right on the edge of the 6. Ashford's just got to be a little quicker off his mark to get to that one.
Yeah, Reese Myers defensively for Butler is about as solid as it gets on the back end. One of the strongest players physically on the field. And you saw him use his body and try to shield Ashford off there in the final moments of that play and really keep the young star from being able to get out as far as he'd like to there on that play.
Yeah, Myers has got a big body. He's 6'1", 190. But you just, if you're a forward, those are the moments you relish. That low cross coming in right at the edge of the 6-yard box. If you get a toe on it and put it to either corner, there's really nothing the goalkeeper's going to be able to do about it. Ashford just a little bit late to arrive.
Budati slow to get up there after contact and a whistle giving the Jays possession. On the move now is Hawkinson. Outside for Espeleta with Tashiro on the outside of the box. Back into the middle, but nothing doing. And cleared out by Butler. Cabrera now gets it back outside, and the Bulldogs on the move. That counterpunch offense for Butler, so dangerous when you have guys like Gould and Cabrera to convert. Nice job there to keep it away from Gould, getting it out of bounds. But a tough position to be in as Mitchell and Gould continue that head-to-head battle in this matchup. Timmer looking for space into the middle again. Just deflected off as he was looking for Gould, but Creighton able to take advantage. Just a little bit behind Gould, anticipating a different route. And now Creighton will try to take advantage with Ashford, but stolen away by Barnes.
Yeah, good reading of the game there by Barnes. Got his body in the perfect position, shielded Ashford from making the run, and then did well to distribute. Good play.
Hawkinson takes over after a little contact, but nothing called. Loses it as he crosses over looking for Polot. Creighton feels like they're close to breaking through offensively.
Yeah, they seem the more likely to score at this point. But you just can't rule out Butler when you have a player like this in Wilmer Cabrera, and look at the run he's making.
Outside now, centering pass for the Bulldogs. No opportunity. He had his teammate Derek Sutton streaking down the side. A little ahead of everybody, and back we go the other way.
Yeah, they got Gould for an offside call again, and as he received that pass from Cabrera, he just had a toenail behind the back line for Creighton.
Yeah, that was one of those calls that you don't always see. Kind of 50-50. He tried to stride a little and slow up a little bit. But he's been victimized by that a couple times early, so the officials, perhaps with their antennas a little bit higher for him there this time. Espeleta has a bounce back to Troston now as Hawkinson will center it. At least try, and after a deflection, Butler will take over. Contact again here with Troston, and it'll go back the other way for the Bulldogs. Is good body position there by Jared Timmer.
Well, that's a veteran play by Jared Timmer right there. He's got really nowhere to go with the ball. He's kind of trapped in the back. Just waits for a Creighton player to get close, absorbs the contact, and draws the foul. That's a really smart play from a senior.
Reese Myers up ahead to Gould. Mitchell with a little too much contact there on his frenemy, if you will say, after this opening 20 minutes or so.
Well, Mitchell's starting to give as good as he's getting now. This is something to watch as we go on. Yeah, that's pretty blatant. Put a shoulder right into the back, the jumping forward, and now we're going to keep our eyes on Mark Buda, the center official, as he tries to take control of that battle between Gould and Mitchell.
Yeah, you saw Gould look for Mitchell as the ball was in the air before he got there. He knew he had plenty of space at that moment. I think it caught him by surprise a little bit that Mitchell came crashing in at the last minute.
I would say that the next one of the two that fouls the other is probably going to be shown a yellow because, Buda's got to take control of the match. You can't let it get out of hand. He's warned both of them now verbally. So you would assume that next time something like that happens.
Opportunity for the Jays, but offside. You saw him getting loose there, Budati on the outside. Great idea. Just a little bit ahead in the execution of it here, John.
Yeah, and it was right in front of the linesman, so you assume he's going to make the correct call. And Budati's been having some success down that right side. It's something that Butler's now got to pay attention to because he's sliced into that back line several times here in the early going.
That was closer on the replay than I thought it was to the naked eye as well. He wasn't as far out in front as I thought he was, so certainly that'll keep the radar high for the Bulldogs, but a great idea, at least in principle, there for Creighton as Budati will reset it to Polad now offensively for Creighton.
Yeah, a good job by Joel Harvey over there, too, to see the opportunity to take Budati off sides and hold his ground and get the call.
Looking for Gould, but Mitchell able to get a foot on it. A little bit too close there from Cruz for comfort if you're a Jays fan.
That was tight. Great turn by Polad.
Polad now looking outside. The Jays good position with numbers. Ashford with it on the edge of the box. Battled for on the outside, and the Jays will have a corner.
Well, here we go. You bring up your center back, Bryce Gibson, who's 6'6". Doesn't have a goal yet on the season. One right now would be huge.
Into the match for Butler is Logan Lee. And in for Creighton is Dominic Briggs. Conversation with Luke Mitchell and the official continues here as we talked about, John.
It's a good job by Mark Buda, just warning everyone, saying, hey, look, you've been warned already. Don't do anything silly.
Tashiro on the corner into the middle. Too far for everyone. But Briggs with those fresh legs chases it down. Makes the turn on the end line. Into the middle, Hawkinson battling for it with Cabrera. Polad now lets one rip. Deflected out of bounds, and the Jays will have another corner opportunity.
Yeah, that's good from Polad. That's what you want to see. There's usually only good things that happen if you shoot at the goal, right? It could get deflected and end up in the back of the net. You could win a corner. You might score. That's a great job by Polad of just taking it on himself to try and put something on.
You'll see Hawkinson head to the corner now to send it inbounds. Tashiro finding position.
He's just going to take up residence on that near post.
Now he's the one to watch the hot hand as of late for the Blue Jays, at least in the goal-scoring department. Hawkinson sends it into the middle. Contact out of bounds by the Bulldogs defenders, and the Jays will do it again. Polad will take his turn at it this time. Back up top to Budati. Dangerous pass there. Goes out of bounds, and the Bulldogs escape from a tough situation in the early going.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like the play there from Tashiro. You've got the ball on the end line from the corner, and you're going to play it back to 35, 40 yards out from goal. You just like to keep the pressure on, and when you do that, you allow that defense to come out and set up a line and keep players from running in behind.
Polad forced to let it go, and the Bulldogs will have a throw-in.
I think, there can be value in playing a corner short, but that wasn't playing it short. They played it long in the wrong direction.
It always seems like one of the most stressful situations in terms of just watching a match at home in Creighton is anytime there's a corner kick, everyone kind of gets that extra anxiety in their chest, right? If you're on the defensive half, and it's hard to just take that away. Hawkinson spins and lets one rip toward the far post, but out of bounds. But it's just one of those moments where you kind of hold your breath a little bit, and when you take that moment away, you know, it just seems like a missed opportunity if you're a fan.
Yeah, that's a nifty bit of skill from Hawkinson. I'm sure he wishes he'd done a little better on the back end with the strike.
5 shots for the Jays, just 1 for Butler so far in 30-plus minutes of the first half. And that's about how it's felt on the field in terms of control and aggression in the early going. It seems like Butler's almost waiting for that home run ball while Creighton has been able to work its way into position so far in this half.
Yeah, Butler is pretty content right now to just keep sending long balls forward, trying to find the feet of Brandon Gould and hope that he can do something against that Creighton backline.
Barnes up ahead to Timmer, who drops it back to his teammate. Georgie will reset. Ashford causing problems and does just that. A throw in now for the Jays. Butler a little out of sorts there.
And Georgie just didn't quite strike it the way he wanted to. He was trying to drop that in along the sideline and got a little bit too far under.
Bryce Gibson had it but lost it as Butler turns. Looking to attack, but unable to turn it around as they regain possession back into the middle now. Haywood to the outside for Cabrera. Top of the box, but a nice job defensively to keep it out of harm's way there for the Jays. Timmer now back outside. You just feel the electricity when Cabrera gets the ball on his foot.
Oh,
back toward the box now, and a save for Cruz, who will pick it up. Good slicing opportunity there for Joel Harvey. Take another look at the angle here. Good idea on the run out, just a little bit too far on the pass.
Yeah, good shielding right there. Also by Yunus Budati to read the game at the back.
Gould with it now. Down the side, nobody with him at the moment. Sutton now joins the party. Back to Gould off the deflection. Into the middle. Cabrera Jr. from the box. Deflected by Cruz and a diving save. Knocked out of bounds, but a great stop by the Creighton keeper.
That was an absolute rocket off the foot of Wilmer Cabrera Jr. About 20 yards out, and Paul Cruz with every inch of that 6'4" frame to get out there and make the stop.
Yeah, perfect position. Centered up just outside of the box where he wanted to be. Low line drive saved by Cruz. Corner kick now in play to the short corner for the Bulldogs. Headed into harm's way, but Cruz able to let it go over the top of the net, and nothing doing there as Timmer tried to put one home.
Best attacking moment of the first half right there for the Bulldogs, but Paul Cruz able to deny it. And we said, we were talking before this one, Thor, and two teams that tend to give up some goals. Both have allowed over 20 on the season. Thought there's a chance that it could come down to which keeper was able to stand on his head and make some of those great saves. Paul Cruz has done his part so far. Georgie hasn't really been tested just yet.
Co-captain Bryce Gibson looking for the deep ball there, but unable to connect.
Yeah, and to your point earlier, it feels like Creighton's generating more on offense, but when you look at what Georgie's had to do, it's not been much.
Yep.
Creighton hasn't been able to really threaten his goal mouth. There was the one cross along the ground from Budati that looked dangerous, but Georgie didn't have anything to do on that play, so he's been relatively unbothered back there.
Shot into the Middle is unable to be delivered there as Hawkinson goes tumbling to the turf. Yeah, scoring chances and shots on goal are all very different things. It feels like Creighton has had opportunities to create scoring chances and has not done so, whereas Butler's scoring chances have been limited, but they've taken good shots when they've had those chances.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the stats, that kind of bears out over the season. You know, Butler, their shot on goal percentage this season is up over 45%. Yeah, so, you know, they've been very efficient. When they get a shot, they're putting it on frame 45% of the time. You look at the other side for Creighton, it's only 35% of the time when Creighton takes a shot that it goes on frame. So the way the first half has played out is kind of how the season plays out for both teams.
Cabrera takes Hawkinson down to the turf. Take a moment to collect himself there. He grabs his left heel there. Cabrera trying to make something happen in the midfield there for the Bulldogs. Here's another look at it.
Yeah, it's a legitimate attempt at the ball from Cabrera. It's not cynical. He's not, you know, no intent to injure there or anything. He's just late on the tackle, and Hawkinson able to take advantage and win the foul.
Yeah, kind of a stab in the dark there at the end. He didn't even get fully extended trying to get the ball. He just didn't have time. Ronenberg now drops it back for Gibson across the field to Mitchell. Creighton looking for open space. Trostin on the hunt now. Back outside looking for Budati. On the edge of the box, deflected out of bounds. Another corner kick coming for Creighton.
Well, here we go, another set piece. This one late in the first half. Coming in, Butler had allowed 98 corner kicks, Creighton 101. This is corner kick number 6 of the first half already.
Give the fans what they want.
Sure, why not?
The action, the urgency. Now coming in from Pola. Top of the box, Ronenberg gets ahead on it. Unable to direct it the right way. Trostin salvaged the possession here for the Jays as Tashiro now back to Trostin, just outside of the box. Looking for space to operate now. Ronenberg outside for Pola once again. And this one will be sent out of bounds over the net. Well, you see that Butler defense just kind of collapse once it gets to the top of the box. You see a couple of, there's just not the space. It seems like it's there. And those players offensively for Creighton, as they turn around and try to navigate those tight quarters, not having success as of yet.
Yeah, Butler's defense has done a nice job. As you said, it looks like Creighton's had opportunities to create clear and obvious scoring chances, but they haven't, and that's down to the way Butler's playing defensively. They've just, every time it looks like Creighton's going to threaten, they've just canceled it out at the back.
Opportunity now, Sutton chasing it, but Cruz able to corral the play without a dangerous opportunity in his hands. You take another look at it here. It seemed like Sutton had a good shot. It didn't really go for the deflection because of his position. Speaking of which, Trostin takes up residence on the turf there. We'll have a yellow card handed out. Butler's Jack Haywood, the victim this time. He's unhappy with the call. You take another look at the contact as Trostin tries to split a pair of defenders.
Yeah, and it's just Haywood sees the ball is already behind him. He sticks the knee out anyway. It's a cynical foul, and you draw the yellow card for that. It's not necessarily a hard or a terrible foul, but it's just that he knew he was going to commit a foul in that situation. He wasn't going to win the ball, and he went through with the tackle anyway. That's usually going to draw a yellow card.
And you'll see more of those plays at the end of a first half or second half, and under 4 minutes now in the opening half, and that's what happens. You get some tired legs, you're a little bit slow, and you don't want to give up that position. That's how it goes. Gibson now for Ronenberg. An opportunity now for Creighton to try to take advantage of what's been a solid half on the offensive end without any results to show for it. Gibson out of bounds on a bad pass.
Yeah, Butler not going to cooperate with that either because they've put a 11 players behind the ball when Creighton is moving it forward here at the end of the half, not wanting to give up anything late.
Ethan King into the lineup now for the Bulldogs. Coming out is Derek Sutton. Some fresh legs on the turf here just before the half. Timmer now in the middle. Looking outside. Good opportunity here. Back into the middle now, but nowhere to pass it. He was looking for anything that he could create there, but Hollenkamp unable to turn the corner.
Yeah, such a good ball out wide from Haywood. Put Hollenkamp in, but Hollenkamp just unable. Didn't quite get his feet sorted out as quick as he would have liked to, I'm sure.
Yeah, tough angle there when you're in the middle coming across to get yourself into position. A whistle for contact here goes against the Jays now, and
Haywood's got to be careful and showing frustration like that. I know he's frustrated about getting the yellow card earlier, but yelling out at the referee, in the wrong situation, when you're on a yellow card, you might see the second and then be off the pitch.
Yeah, contact there, pretty obvious on Polot as the Jays look to be making a run. Under 2 minutes to go now in the first half.
Thor, what started out as a physical but fair contest has started to boil over just a little bit as we wind down this first half.
Luke Mitchell now looking to reset. Tashiro with it. Nowhere to go in the middle. Looking for Polot into the middle. Back out on the back end. Ronneberg now with space. Trostin with arms up here in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, hoping for the ball in the final minute. Tashiro drops it back to Mitchell. Looking to create and keep possession here in the final seconds. Up ahead looking for Ashford on the edge of the boundary. Barnes doing a nice job of battling as well, but it'll go the Jays' way here for a throw-in. Under 30 seconds left now in the half.
You're just looking for one opportunity in this situation. With collegiate soccer with the hard timing, you're looking for one chance.
Tashiro tries to navigate through the box. Hawkinson will chase it down for a throw-in. Under 10 seconds remaining. Hawkinson puts one into the middle of the box, headed away by the Bulldogs, and we'll go to halftime in a scoreless draw. Frustrating half for Johnny Torres and the Jays offensively. Butler doing a nice job defensively as well, and Paul Cruz doing his part in net for the Jays, John. He's been fantastic in the limited opportunities that he has seen. We'll be back with more here from Omaha on the Big East Digital Network. Scoreless after the first half.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Back here in Omaha, Nebraska, no score after 45 minutes of soccer here between the Butler Bulldogs and the Creighton Blue Jays in this quarterfinal matchup, the 4-5 matchup. About as evenly played as we expected it to be going in, John.
Yeah, and both defenses have really stood up well. In a game we thought maybe could have a lot of goals scored, both teams come out firing. Nobody's really created that real threatening chance. Georgie for Butler hasn't really been tested. Paul Cruz has done a nice job in the two opportunities he's had. Ultimately, nobody able to crack the scoreline.
Yeah, this one, the second quarterfinal of the day in the Big East Conference Championships. Earlier this afternoon, the third seed Providence hosting number 6 seed Marquette. And in the early going, the Friars offensively, Jao Serrano with the corner kick, and Espen Wolf puts it home.
Yeah, this is a great run from deep by Wolf. Just gets to that back post, beats his defender, and it's an easy tap in at the far post. You see here, Providence had a free kick, a penalty kick opportunity, but a great save on the other side, and Marquette keeps it at 1. Not for long, though.
Yeah, second half, still 1-0, but Danny Griffin taken out by the keeper and stuffed, but then Trevor DeVock puts it home, and now this is the third goal there. Espen Wolf with the shot. Paulo Lima, the Friars' third goal of the day, and that ends up being your final. Providence 13-5 now on the season. Their RPI 30th coming into the week, so making some hay there. Now they'll visit St. John's, which means that this will be Creighton's final home match of the season, regardless of outcome. But a great one on tap for us here in the second half. The Jays and Bulldogs scoreless in Omaha. More to come after this.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Back here in Omaha, Nebraska, halftime scoreless still between the Creighton Blue Jays and the Butler Bulldogs. Both new additions to the Big East Conference, which is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year. We'll have a little bit of talk about that, as well as Val Ackerman speaking on inclusion and diversity in the conference. Let's take a look.
When my time came to stop coaching, I was very fortunate that I didn't have to go cold turkey. I was able to start the Big East Conference, and we came across the sky like a meteor.
One recruiting year that they had that really turned everything around was the Ewan Mullen Pinckney recruiting year. It changed the face of Eastern basketball probably forever.
We just believed in ourselves, and a lot of hard work on everybody's part.
Every March, Madison Square Garden is home to everything that is college basketball.
Put on your red shoes and dance the blues.
What? How's the weather? Yeah. It's snowing out. It's a blizzard, but we ain't gonna stop.
Rightly, there were questions early on about whether the Big East could withstand the test of reconfiguration, and I think if you were here, we've done that and more.
It's a monster league now. Last man standing, bring the flag. Tough to coach in, but great for spectators and great to play in. The march of the Big East goes on.
One of the positives about the sports business in the last couple of years, and in recent years in particular, has been the growing interest in seeing our industry become a more diverse and inclusive place.
I find it important for us to amplify the voices of those who have not traditionally had a seat at the table. As a Black African woman, my various social identities are always at the forefront of my daily interactions, from my first name, my culture, to where I'm from. So for me, diversity is about us celebrating our uniqueness as a society.
A lot of what happens in terms of diversifying workforce in the college world happens at the campus level. That's really where the core hiring takes place. The schools are responsible for hiring their directors of athletics, their staffs, their coaches. And so the conference is really a step away from that activity, but I think conferences can and should set a tone. And so in the Big East, we have tried to make diversity and inclusion a conference strategic priority. We have, for example, within our conference SAC group, designated a diversity and inclusion officer. D&I has become an important topic of discussion at SAC meetings. And our D&I officer is now included into the conference-wide diversity and inclusion working group that we've created.
I currently serve as the conference's Student Athlete Advisory Committee's Diversity and Inclusion Officer. This position is charged with ensuring that the conference carries out its commitment to inclusion for all. And I assist the conference staff in creating opportunities for student athletes from different backgrounds to come together to share and exchange ideas. I also work closely with the Big East Diversity and Inclusion Working Group.
You know, when I think about diversity, I think about the fact that diversity is a fact. When we think about inclusion, we think about inclusion being a choice. And I think if we can succeed in anything at the Big East is to impress upon everyone how inclusion isn't just a choice but a responsibility.
The Big East is committed to continuing the development of programs and initiatives that support diverse and inclusive environments for our student athletes, coaches, staff, and communities.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
There's all the evidence of a beautiful night in Omaha, Nebraska that you need right there. And these two teams shooting for the moon with their performance here in the second half. Creighton fans on hand, one of the best fan bases in the country, third nationally in attendance. 2,275 a game this year coming in to this postseason matchup. And John, after that first half, what do you see from the Butler sideline that is going to be a key for them to get a win here in Omaha?
Yeah, I think they just need a little bit more patience on attack. We saw in that first half they played a lot of long balls from deep in midfield and even from the back, trying to find the feet of Brandon Gould up front and let him do everything after that. I think a little bit more patience, moving the ball from phase to phase, building an attack rather than just trying to manufacture something on a long ball. That's going to serve them well here in the second half. On the other side for Creighton, they've just got to find the final pass, right? We saw them create some things. They were in possession. They were moving the ball forward steadily. But when it came to making the final pass and creating that incisive run,
They just were unable to do it. They've got to be a little bit sharper in the final third and create that killer opportunity.
Yeah, Johnny Torres and his squad making adjustments here in the second half. And traditionally what we've seen out of this Creighton team is more of an offensive attack in the second half. 47 more shots taken by the Blue Jays in the second half of games this season than in the first half. So if they weren't aggressive enough for you in the first half as a fan, you can certainly look forward to that here in the final 45. Up ahead early, Engelking drops it off for Trostin. Into the middle, crossing traffic, and Hawkinson will get it out wide.
That was such a good job on the recovery run by Jared Timmer. I know I talk a lot about him, but he's such a good player, and he does all these things that aren't going to show up in the box score. And that was one of them. He just cut off the run and didn't allow that ball into the box. That was brilliant defensive play by Timmer.
Pull out all the way across the field. Looking back into the middle for Hawkinson now, but deflected away as Toshiro unable to connect. Open down the side for Budati now, who had a lot of success in the first half, and Espeleta trying to connect the dots late, unable to do so.
And it's more of the same for Creighton, just sustained pressure, but without any result, Thor. They're holding the ball, they're getting the ball into the final third, but Butler's just done a better job in that area of not allowing them the passing lanes and the space to make the runs.
Yeah, a little bit of a different look there with Espeleta slicing through from Budati that time. You saw Budati deep into the corner quite a bit in the first half on those runs. But Espeleta slicing through there looking for space on that opportunity, but good job defensively by the Bulldogs with 3 in position. Butler working it around outside, a little give and go against Toshiro, and contact going back the other way. Good body position there by Toshiro.
Yeah, just a little bit of a shoulder grab from Derek Sutton, and Toshiro wins the foul. But, it's exactly what I was talking about. And the key to the second half, I thought, for Creighton, it's, they're creating the opportunity and not finishing it. They're not getting a chance out of, sustained pressure and possession. And the longer it goes without Creighton capitalizing on all this pressure and possession, the more likely it is that Butler's going to hit the other way. It's just, it's one of these universal laws of soccer. If you don't take advantage of your opportunities, you're going to give up a goal the other way. It always seems to happen.
Yeah, that home crowd maybe a little bit more anxious as you go here, as well, as we'll have a free kick for the Bulldogs. Another opportunity here for Butler off the set play. John, what are you trying to do here from this position?
Well, first things first, it has to be a good delivery. A nice driven ball right just inside the penalty spot is what you're looking for. That is the first key. If that doesn't happen, nothing good's going to come of it.
Haywood boots it in and headed out back the other way there by Hawkinson.
Well, that's what I'm talking about with the delivery, Thor. It's that ball comes in flat. It doesn't beat the first defender past the wall, and it's an easy clearance.
The Blue Jays in front of the home crowd, a little under 2,000 here, 1,928 official attendance. And for an early November match in outdoor Midwest country, pretty good delivery there for the Jays. Playing at home has been a huge advantage for this team traditionally. This year they were 7-2-0 this season at home, but overall 21-4-3 at Morrison Stadium in the postseason, including NCAA tournament games. So Creighton, traditionally a very strong program here. They're comfortable under the lights here in downtown Omaha, and while the fans may be increasingly uncomfortable with a scoreless match, The Jays are used to these close matches here, especially late in the year.
Fortress Morrison, they call it.
Trying to lock down the first goal of the match here, but nothing to be had. A little nerve-wracking situation there as Cruz tries to navigate around a charging Alex Lettinen. Into the middle now for Timmer. Finds his man Cabrera Jr. Off the right foot and high out of bounds. Another aggressive possession there for the freshman.
We saw him hit a rocket in the first half, and this was another one. He shoots with such power. This one a little bit wild and high and wide, but when he directs that on frame, you can see why he's scored so many goals this season.
Just an electric talent in the offensive third of the field. You can see and sense that he's ready to take off as soon as he gets the ball on his foot. There's not a whole lot of dilly-dallying around and looking for space. He's often and moving or often and kicking it as fast as he can, and he's been able to deliver on that for the Bulldogs throughout the season.
Well, he's got a tremendous bloodline. His father played for the Colombian national team and is currently the head coach of Montreal Impact in the MLS.
Big run here for the Bulldogs, back across to the middle, but nobody home on the centering pass. Cabrera a little behind the play there. And maybe a little bit too fancy for the Bulldogs on that play. It seemed like Gould tried to get himself into position by crossing back and forth, and it almost looked like he had the edge originally, but didn't go that route.
Yeah, this is a good little give and go. It gets Jared Timmer into the spot, and then Paul Cruz, not quite sure where that ball's headed, just has to punch clear. Gives up a corner.
Yeah, the spin off the deflection there from Timmer's foot really makes that an uncertain play. You don't know which way it's going to bounce off that AstroTurf. The Bulldogs with a corner here as a result, but nothing doing there. Deflected back to the midfield now for Barnes. Aggressive into the box, but out of bounds off the foot of Louis Bulger there. But you see a little bit more emphasis offensively for Butler as a team so far in this second half.
Yeah, that ball forward for Bulger deserved a better strike than he gave it. And then you saw him fall to his knees and put his hands on his head afterward. He knew it. He knew that he needed to do better with that because he was in prime real estate. That is goal-scoring territory right there. About 10 to 12 yards out on an angle. That was a dangerous opportunity. And a bullet dodged for Creighton.
A little bit of a miss hit on the pass across the field for Butler. Results in Paul Cruz taking possession. He'll direct the Jays for the offensive here. Boudadi now along the end line. Good position there by the freshman Barnes.
Well, Angle King just didn't read it very well. He let it bounce, and it bounced over his head instead of where he thought it was going to come down.
Polad now. Forced back into the middle for Mitchell. And back to Cruz to clear it out. .50-50 back into the far end for Myers. Myers again with it. Angle King there with good pressure to force it deeper into the Bulldogs' end. Just feels like one of these matches, one mistake or one great play could determine the outcome of this game.
It's postseason soccer, you know. It usually doesn't take much. Everybody pretty locked in, pretty conservative. You get that first goal, you could be well on your way.
Cabrera trying to force it to Gould. Mitchell doing a nice job, but unable to keep it on the Jays in. So Gould will have a throw in here for the Bulldogs. He'll drop it off to his teammate Joel Harvey. You feel that sigh of relief every time Cabrera gets rid of the ball if you have the pulse of the Jays fans here at home.
He's just could be lethal at any moment.
Engelking now over to Troston, and the Jays have some numbers and space to work with. Espeleta back to Hawkinson. Across the field now for Gibson. Space for Polot now into the middle. Espeleta to Hawkinson. Trying to fit into the seam there between two defenders. Espeleta now with it. Off the defender and out of bounds for a corner kick. A nice job there in the scramble by the Jays to get a good shot off. I give themselves another opportunity as you take another look here, John.
Yeah, watch Perrin Barnes just gets himself in the right position to stop the cross. That's a good crossing position that Espeleta had gotten into, but Barnes closed it down quickly and only gives away the corner.
Kuba Polot will send it in from the corner. Chipping it into the middle of the box. Contact first from Reese Myers defensively for the Bulldogs. The ball still bounding around just outside of the box now. Ronneberg takes down Cabrera Jr., and the Bulldogs will send it upfield off the free kick. A little contact between the two teams. Engelking now trying to chase one down, but play whistled dead before that.
And Budati just touched it a bit wide with his first touch as he went past Alex Lettinen.
Tough spot along the sideline there. Polot now takes an elbow to the forehead. He's down on the turf while Butler sends it back the other way offensively. And he's in trouble as the ball rolls off him now. More contact in the middle of the field as well. Down on the turf for Butler is Jared Timmer. Both coaches and their staffs fired up. Contact in both directions as the officials try to corral the aggression here in the second half.
Yeah, it just looks like an eye poke.
Yep, got the shot to the eye there. Looked like an elbow in slow-mo, but trying to keep him off his body. Just got him with his back. The left hand and his fingers there as Polot will come out of the game.
Looked unintentional.
Yeah.
And I think Engelking gets yellow card for the contact that put Jared Timmer on the turf. His name's going to go in Mark Buda's book.
Yeah, this time in the match, so important, so vital on both sides. We talked about it. One mistake, one great play often makes the difference in these matches. Here's Timmer being taken down.
Yeah, and again, it's a late foul. Engelking's not going to win the ball, sticks a foot out anyway. Like I said in the first half, you're going to get a yellow card for that. If you're attacking the man when the ball is well gone, the official's going to take issue. Your name goes in the book.
Yeah, a little bit lazy there, almost. Nothing lazy about this run from Espeleta, though. Trying to take on two defenders. A great job by Reese Myers to slice in and cut off the scoring chance there for the Blue Jays. But Creighton building momentum offensively here in the last few minutes. Another touch now to Espeleta, out wide. Centering in the box, but nobody home as Myers heads it out of trouble. Troston steals it away. Polot into the middle now for Engelking. Deflected. And no shot on goal for the Jays. Budati now outside of the box, looking for room to operate. Polot to Budati on the end line. Tries to split the defenders and cannot do so. Stolen away as Gould gets it outside, stolen again. Budati to Hawkinson. Crosses over and loses it momentarily. Budati now boots it toward the goal. It'll stay inbound toward the corner. Trostin trying to chase it down, keeps it inbounds. But Butler will escape after Georgie remains untested on that possession. Much ado about nothing for the Blue Jays on that play.
It's the point I just wanted to make, Thor. You read my mind. It's more attacking threat from Creighton that produces no tangible result. Georgie just gets to stand back there protected by his back line. Creighton, again, it's a lack of sharpness in the final third. They get the ball too far out in front of him. They make the wrong pass. The crosses aren't sharp. And, you know, if you're not going to test the goalkeeper, fine. Right?
That's right.
The team on the other end is going to take that all day long.
Logan Lee into the match for Butler. And for the Jays, Cameron Briggs into the game.
It's not to shortchange the Butler defense either, because they've been great. You know, Reese Myers just made a whale of a recovery run with tons of speed against a player who's pretty fast in his own right in Espeleta. The Butler defense has been really good, but, you know, in just watching this match, you feel like Creighton should have more to show for what they've done than what they have currently.
And Toshiro hoping to change that. He's been fantastic for the Jays at the very end of his career so far. Trostin now drops it back for Polot into the middle for Toshiro again. He's been a playmaker for Creighton down the stretch. Polot unable to get contact and booted out of bounds by Joel Harvey for the Jays.
But that's a prime example, Thor. I mean, you've got Kuba Polot running in space down the wing, and the ball is too far inside. It allows the Butler defender to make a play on it, which he does. And it takes away an attacking opportunity because of a lack of sharpness in passing.
Cameron Briggs back to throw it in again. Trostin now into the middle of the box. Opportunity with a foot on it. But out of bounds high. Espeleta slicing through. He's a little bit different tempo when he gets into the box. It feels like when he makes his mind up to make a move, it's not about calculating space or trying to get his body in position. He just goes. And he's probably Creighton's equivalent of what Wilmer Cabrera is able to do offensively for Butler.
Yeah, Espeleta is just a missile. He's full speed, straight ahead.
Speaking of which, Cabrera now on the other side of things for Lee. Far side now for Sutton as the Bulldogs get into position offensively. He keeps it in bounds with control. Cabrera now just outside of the box. Nice job by Toshiro to shield him from the ball. Polot now up ahead, but behind Hawkinson, and Butler will keep it in the offensive end.
It rears its head again, Thor. It's everybody. It's not just one player making that mistake either. It's the team in white right now just doesn't have it together when they've got opportunities.
Yeah, the longer the visiting team stays in it, the longer it feels like that home field advantage slips away in games like this. Opportunity now off the foot and out of bounds for Butler, and a corner kick impending for the Bulldogs. Joel Harvey trots down to get in position.
Now, Butler's got to make this pay. They've got to pay off their opportunities now. They've had several as well. Theirs have come a little bit differently than Creighton's, but here's another corner kick for Butler, and boy, if they could put one in the back of the net right here, it might just deflate Creighton enough to see this one out.
Harvey with his arm up in the corner goes short just outside of the box, and we'll have another opportunity for the Bulldogs. Trying to go around Toshiro there, but Jared Timmer unable to navigate with help there defensively from the Jays.
What a nutmeg move by Jared Timmer. That was beautiful.
Far corner now headed out of bounds by Reese Myers. Got first contact on it toward the far post. But no danger to Cruz on that play, and we remain scoreless.
Now here comes Ashford back on. We saw this substitution in the first half for Creighton. Engelking coming to the bench. Jake Ashford, the freshman. Told you about him in the first half. He'll check in. Engelking had a couple of moments in attack where he might have created something, but now it's down to Ashford to assume that role of the lone center forward.
It felt like Ashford gave the Jays a little bit of a different tempo, a little bit different feel late in the first half offensively. It seemed like Creighton had controlled in the first half, but hadn't necessarily generated as many scoring opportunities as they did late in the half when Ashford was in there. Toshiro now battling with Timmer. Espeleta tries to steal it away, and it's out of bounds off the Bulldogs. So midway through the second half now, 65 minutes of scoreless soccer in Omaha. A lot on the line for these programs. 12th meeting between these two teams. Creighton leads the series 8 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. Undefeated here in Omaha, 4-0-1. So Creighton trying to continue that trend here on the offensive attack. Midway through this second half, Espeleta has it stolen away. The extra confidence coming from that win just a week ago against this Bulldogs team as well, but the longer into this match you get, the less that matters. More contact again here involving Butler's Jack Haywood. A little ahead of himself there as well as Logan Lee for the Bulldogs. They come in off the bench, you want to make something happen, and you get a little bit too aggressive and have to start over. Toshiro to Troston now, a little bit too far for Hawkinson into the middle. Cabrera now turns. Up ahead looking for Gould, but down to the turf and saving a potential scoring play there was Gibson. Now Toshiro in the middle to the outside. Opportunity here for the Jays with space. Troston now just outside of the box. Into the middle for Espeleta. Troston now with a shot on goal. Deflected off of Creighton and out of bounds. Ashford, wrong place, wrong time for the Jays.
So Creighton's made a little switch as we have a player down. It's Logan Lee down near the box holding that right knee. Certainly hope everything's okay with him, but Creighton's made a switch now. I talked early on, Udai Toshiro had been playing outside back. It was normally a midfield player. They've brought in Briggs. We're going to get a look at what happened here, and it just looks like a hard step on that right leg. And boy, those non-contact injuries, you hate to see that.
Yeah, it's a tough position to be in here as he comes in off the bench in the second half, trying to make something happen, gets up off the turf with assistance here on his way off the field, but no weight on that right leg as he makes his way off. So tough position to be in for Logan Lee. Coming into the match now, the returning will be Eric Hollenkamp for Butler. We certainly hope everything is okay with Logan Lee as he slowly and gingerly makes his way off the turf. As you said, John, the non-contact injuries.
You just hate to see it.
Difficult to watch in this sport.
Another note, while that was going on, Hollenkamp comes on, so does Ethan King, which takes Brandon Gould to the bench. So I'd imagine he'll sit down for 4 or 5 minutes maybe, get a quick breather, and make his re-entry for that final 15-minute stretch run here down toward the end of the match.
Troston now into the middle for Espeleta, over to Hawkinson a little bit backward as they try to find position here. Budati back to Polat to reset.
But the point I was making earlier, Thor, is Udai Tashiro's moved into the midfield now with Cameron Briggs coming on to play this outside back position on the near side.
Tashiro maybe with a little more playmaking opportunity in that role here as they try to find a spark. Nearly a scoring chance there as you see a great play there by Georgie to try to cut off the opportunity there for that centering pass.
No, that was exactly it. He read the game really well right there. Just got into that crossing lane, came out off his line, and took it away.
A little short on the pass there from the Bulldogs, and Tashiro sends it back the other way. Troston trying to navigate traffic in the middle of the field and contains possession here. Polak scrambling to keep the ball on his foot as well.
Oh, that's always tough. It's when you step on the ball and then you fall over. It's such a horrible feeling.
Espeleta trying to help the Jays to a good feeling now. Ashford in the middle, one extra pass, but nobody home for Tashiro. The freshman looking for his teammate who had dropped back.
Yeah, he's looking for Tashiro to make that run. Tashiro had dropped out. Just a lack of communication, a lack of feeling between the two.
Young player and new position. It's a tough recipe there in the clutch moments of this matchup. Gibson now with a bad pass out of bounds for Budati and turned over for the Bulldogs.
Butler has to feel really good about where they are in this match right now. I would say, Thor, they've had the more dangerous scoring chances. They've repelled everything that Creighton has thrown at them. And now here as we approach 20 minutes left, they've got a chance to put one in the back of the net and steal this game.
Battle toward the box now as Butler tries to get themselves a corner kick, and it looks like they will. Off the foot of Troston and out of bounds. So an opportunity here. Troston, of course, one of 12 international players on this Creighton roster, 16 from the U.S., but a diverse group that Johnny Torres is working with here in year number one as head coach, and you've seen that pay off culturally, at least with this team this year.
Yeah, they've really embraced the foreign-born players here at Creighton.
Corner into the box, headed over the top of the net and out of bounds by Reese Myers, who again, contact with Cruz there, but Myers has been a problem on these corner sets for the Bulldogs.
Oh, that was an opportunity because it's a ball that Paul Cruz misread. He tried to come out and claim it and couldn't reach it. And Reese Myers, if you can just direct that on frame, it's an easy goal.
Dominic Briggs checking into the game now as Espeleta will take a seat. Briggs, of course, one of a set of twins for the Creighton Blue Jays, the first in program history here for men's soccer. Both seen action tonight so far. And Briggs on the outside edge now, setting it up for Ashford in the middle, just outside of the box. Deep run, knocked out of bounds. And we'll have a corner kick here for the Creighton Blue Jays. Butler unhappy with the call and the contact there, but Ashford doing a nice job getting himself into position deep to cause problems for the Bulldogs.
Now, I want to see how many bodies Creighton will commit forward, because a couple of times off these set pieces, Butler has looked like they're going to break out. But Creighton committing 10 players to the attack.
Tashiro to the back of the box for Hawkinson, who's unable to deliver it toward the net. Squirts out of bounds.
That's such a tough technique. The ball coming from 40 yards away on the full volley. If you hit that anywhere near the net, should feel pretty good.
Back into the midfield now, 50-51 by the Jays, but contact ruled on Hawkinson. He doesn't like the call. Butler doesn't mind one bit. Under 20 minutes remaining here in regulation. Still no score, but certainly scoring chances to be had here in the final minutes. Polott looking ahead for Briggs, but too far and outnumbered to begin with. Cruz will handle it in the box now. Creighton resets. Yeah, you see the Jays feeling comfortable with what they've been able to put together here offensively, knowing they're just one pass short of connecting the dots and finding the back of the net. You don't see them in too much of a rush right now offensively. They want to find the most efficient route to a goal as they have all season. Won't be tempted to throw up a Hail Mary here as Trostin runs toward the boundary now. Slow pass into the middle. He mishit just a bit. Georgie boots it back out of harm's way for the time being. Contact there between Gibson, who seemed to throw a shoulder in. We'll have a ruling here from the official, but tumbling out of bounds for Butler was Ethan King. Take another look at it here. Looked like a little bit of an aggressive shoulder there by number 21.
And he's going to say it's shoulder to shoulder, and it's hard to disagree, but I think what they get him for is not playing the ball. He's not trying to play the ball. He's trying to play the man first. And, usually shoulder-to-shoulder contact is allowed, but they're going to get Gibson for not playing the ball.
Yeah, the line and the path toward the ball there, a little swerve out of the way. It looked like maybe a squirrel ran in his path there on the road.
And I'm sure that Bryce Gibson said, "What? It's shoulder to shoulder."
Yeah, the veteran player trying to plead his case. Great shot by our camera crew there on the field level. 15 minutes and change to go here in regulation. Coming in to the match for Butler is Brandon Gould, so nothing harmed by the Bulldogs yanking their leading goal scorer from the match there. He'll be fresh for the remainder of the night. Coach Snape satisfied with that substitution. Things starting to slow down here a little bit as we get toward the tail end of regulation. A little more conservative, but it seems like Creighton has still been able to manufacture some opportunities and just come up a little bit short so far.
Yeah, they've held possession longer. But really, I can't think of a time when they really threatened Thor. They've pushed the ball forward. They've held it. They've kept Butler at bay. But they just have not had that breakthrough. They haven't had the final ball that sends someone in on goal with an opportunity to score. And, the few times they've taken some shots from outside the box, they've ended up high or wide or scuffed.
And maybe the best scoring opportunity for Creighton so far was in that first half with Ashford just a little long in the box. And there wasn't even contact on the shot there. Cruz keeps it in bounds there on the drive. Or on the dive, rather. Fans at home here trying to pull Creighton to a victory. Pass too long from Polott. Looking for Budati, but can't connect.
Well, it's just a little bit weird. We've gone past 75 minutes played in this one. These two teams have combined 33 games on the season, and only 8 of those has there been a shutout. But we're at 0-0 through, 76 minutes and change.
Gould trying to change that. Cabrera now to Gould into the middle. Drops it back, but nobody home for the Bulldogs. Good opportunity there for Butler. Back into the box now, and comes Gibson to clear it momentarily. Anytime you have Cabrera and Gould together charging toward the box, it's a scary moment for the Creighton Blue Jays, but they survive there.
I thought I was almost sure that connection was going to produce something right there, but Gould left it on a little dummy to try and get another player involved, and ball didn't quite have enough pace on it to get there. Just misjudged it ever so slightly.
Derek Sutton now to throw it in for the Bulldogs. He'll pass off that duty momentarily. Louis Balger will toss it in. Cabrera with the quick touch. This one out of bounds. Another throw in pending for the Bulldogs. A shot on goal there for Cruz to get some work in. Cabrera from long range throwing up a prayer. Across into the middle of the field now feels like the last few minutes it's turned in favor of the Bulldogs.
Yeah, this is probably their longest stretch of sustained possession in this match, and that is a bad sign for the home team because, as we've said, Thor, Creighton has had the more of possession. They've had more chances to create that they haven't taken advantage of, and those are heartbreaking conditions. You're setting yourself up for a heartbreak, and Butler more than happy to oblige.
Cabrera steals it away from Mitchell, but Cruz able to keep it in bounds. Now another Bulldog down on the turf momentarily as Derek Sutton pulls himself up. But play stopped momentarily.
I don't think Sutton necessarily got the foul that he was looking for.
Certainly sold it as well as he could there at the end, which is about all you can do at that point.
Gave it his all.
That's right. Cameron Briggs now over on the end line as
Butler did the right thing because Creighton played the ball out when they thought that Sutton was injured, and Butler gave it right back. It's a good sporting move.
Everybody trying to get organized there momentarily. It's hard in a match like this to put sportsmanship first when winning is so much is at stake. That's a great sign of competition here in the Big East Conference. Myers clears it away now, back up to midfield. Gould and Cabrera unable to corral it for the Bulldogs. Back in the middle now, but a little bit too far behind Toshiro. And we'll have a free kick here for Butler.
There's the player who was just fouled, Alex Lettinen. He's a player to watch here in the late going. He only has 2 goals on the season, but both of his goals are game winners. He's a prime-time performer, and this could be the moment. Alex Lettinen, watch him closely. He is a danger.
And the Blue Jays offensively have been a danger late in games this season as well. 8 wins total, 5 of them with goals in the final 10 minutes of regulation or overtime. And we're into the final 10 minutes of regulation now, so this is winning time for the Creighton Blue Jays so far this year. But the Jays have also played in 3 straight overtime matches.
And there's something we haven't hit yet, is the number of overtime matches between these two. 6 overtimes this season for Butler, and 2 of their last 3, and 3 straight for Creighton have gone to overtime. Of course, they played each other in one of those, so there is a crossover a little bit there, but a tendency for extra time. We are trending in that direction right now.
Much to the chagrin of those beat writers on Deadline.
Hey, but former sports anchors don't have to worry about that, do they, Thor?
Not one bit. All the time in the world, John. Now, offensively, Not much time to operate. Cabrera now into the middle. Dangerous spot here. Taken down from behind, and a whistle called as you saw contact there on Cabrera, and really not much you could do about it outside of that defensively. Here's another look at it. Cabrera in the open space, and Hawkinson doing what he can
to
try to limit a tough shot on goal.
Well, he's waiting for the contact, is Cabrera. He's waiting for it to come as he's dribbling across, waiting. He gets it. He feels Hawkinson put the slightest touch on him, and it's to the ground, baby.
And Gibson had cut off that path in front of him, so he thought he had that open space. And once Bryce Gibson jumped in front and that was eliminated, made the decision-making process a little simpler.
That's just smart play. I mean, you don't have a shooting opportunity. Wait for contact to come from behind. You know it's coming. Draw the contact, hit the deck, you get a foul, and now a dangerous free kick opportunity.
Huge moment in this game now. Under 7 minutes to play. And into contact for the Blue Jays, and a whistle for a penalty shot. Handball whistled. And we'll get another look at it here and see where the contact is. But the entire Butler bench jumped up immediately, asking for that play. Not a whole lot of height on that ball as it came off the foot of Jack Haywood. Let's take a look at it here. And a hand up. He's clearly contact.
You've just got
off the elbow there of Hawkinson.
You can't do that. You can't get the arm away from the body inside the penalty area. Hawkinson, a senior, he knows better than that. But that is a huge break for Butler.
So here we go. Your Big East preseason goalkeeper of the year, Paul Cruz, with a chance to keep this one scoreless for Creighton. Wilmer Cabrera Jr. will try to put Butler in front. The Bulldogs looking to break a scoreless tie here. Cabrera goes far post. Cruz dives the wrong way, and the Bulldogs surge in front on the 8th goal of the season by freshman Wilmer Cabrera Jr.
And will it be game-winning goal number 6 for the super freshman?
Huge moment in the match. The Bulldogs fired up. He now ties Brandon Gould for the team lead in goals. You see Cabrera Jr. there. He knows he still has 7 minutes of business to work. And here's a look once again at that Hawkinson handball that led to this penalty kick. You see it slow here. Hawkinson third from the left in the wall. And that right elbow, clear contact, had raised his elbow above his shoulder. And about as easy a call as it gets in those situations. And then Wilmer Cabrera Jr. putting one home. A tough spot to be in for Paul Cruz, the keeper for Creighton.
It's just a really well-taken penalty from Cabrera. Puts it in the side net. Sent Cruz the wrong way on the approach. And Butler, they have defended like demons throughout this game. They've done so well denying Creighton opportunities. Under 6.5 minutes to deny Creighton a chance to send it to overtime.
And Butler has really played well down the stretch when you look at their performance since the month of October started. This squad 6-2-1 overall. And a chance to improve on that here tonight on the road in quarterfinal play.
Well, we talked about it, Thor. Butler playing perhaps for an at-large bid tonight. You know, they get a top 50 type win. Creighton was 51 in the RPI coming into the week, but they had a couple of wins this week, so you figure they would be in the RPI top 50. Butler, if they get a win, another RPI top 50 win for them. They were number 32 in the RPI. It was pretty clear if they won tonight, they'd have a good shot at an at-large bid, and right now they're under 6 minutes from making that scenario a reality. And so both of these teams really, a win tonight was going to put them in a good spot for an at-large bid, and the loser was going to be sweating bullets come selection time. And it looks like that team that'll be at home sweating is going to be Creighton.
Yeah, really felt like the field had tilted in favor of Butler over the last 10 minutes or so of this gameplay. And that was probably the first time in the match that it had felt that way, really, for the first 75 minutes, 80 minutes of this match. It was kind of Creighton's possession, Creighton's control to lose. Hawkinson pleading his case for contact, but to no avail, and it will go back in Butler's favor here with 5 minutes remaining in regulation, and the Blue Jays season potentially on the line.
Yeah, Timmer with a good defensive play to step in front of Hawkinson and absorb the contact to draw the foul. Timmer has played a real heady match here, the redshirt senior.
Header out of bounds to Butler.
You just have to give so much credit to the back line and Timmer sitting in front of them for Butler. They have been excellent tonight. Every time Creighton looks like they're about to create something threatening, those players at the back come through with a great defensive play, deny the opportunity, cut out a pass. They just played so well.
Yeah, just suffocating in scoring situations for Creighton. You saw that defense clamp down throughout the night when it looked like the Jays were moments away from putting the first tally on the board. Luke Mitchell now back across the field now for Budati. He's been pretty silent in this second half. Not a ton of action. Polat now to the far side to shoot. Nope, contact there, and down goes Briggs. And the Jays will have a free kick.
Well, here's an attacking opportunity. Just about 3.5 minutes to go in this one. Need a good delivery if you're going to get anything on it inside the box. And again, this has got to be delivered pretty driven right about the penalty spot.
Udai Toshiro sends it in. Contact just outside. And still down on the field is Luke Mitchell.
And there were some appeals for a foul and a penalty kick the other way. We'll see what we see here.
Mitchell frustrated
and that's
still in this moment, and the clock will stop momentarily as teams and the officials get sorted out here.
And it was Jared Timmer who came across and put a shoulder right into the side of the head of Luke Mitchell.
Mitchell still pleading his case with the official. They've gotten well acquainted throughout the course of this match. Udai Toshiro, 5 of his 6 goals this season coming off free kicks. Set piece here for the Blue Jays with under 3 minutes remaining. The 7th corner kick of the night for Creighton. Will it be the lucky one?
They're resetting the clock now.
So adding 4 seconds. What could be valuable time.
Now it's down to 30 seconds.
Miraculously. The machine at Morrison Stadium taking us down.
Now, that's it, I think. 3:03. There we go.
7 seconds back on the clock here at Morrison Stadium in this Big East quarterfinal matchup. So here we go. Toshiro in the corner to send it in. Those far posts. Mitchell, contact. Open shot there for Espeleta, but cannot connect directly. Ball squirted a little low off of his foot, but able to make a run here once again into the middle. Into traffic, but gathered back to Kuba Pola. Mitchell now trying to send it into the box. And there in position is Gabriel Georgi.
Well, that shot a moment ago from Espeleta. He tries the side volley after jumping into the air. The spectacular. I don't know if it was absolutely necessary. He might have been able to trap it, take a touch, and get a hit. He tries the first time side volley. That's a tough technique.
And the Blue Jays in tough position now with just more than 2 minutes remaining in regulation. Down a goal at home. Coach Snape and the Bulldogs letting the fans know what they think of them here at Morrison Stadium.
Reese Myers with the gesture.
Reese Myers gets a little itchy down there on the turf. Butler leading 1-0 now, and things getting chippy on the field between the players and the home fans.
Now that's the Creighton student section right down there at that end. So you can assume that he was catching a little stick, as they say, in his home country.
Georgie now back into the midfield as one touch gets it ahead to another dangerous scoring opportunity for Gould, who can't put it home. And now the Jays will try to gather themselves for the final 2 minutes of regulation.
I don't know if the shot was the best option for Gould there. I mean, he can take that ball to the corner and waste time, and instead he gives it right into the hands of Paul Cruz, who can start things back the other way.
Contact there, no whistle though, as Espeleta steals it away. And another corner kick opportunity here for the Creighton Blue Jays as Yunus Boudadi. And the whistle here will be, I guess, a goal kick ruled there, and Creighton is livid. The coaching staff incredibly frustrated, and here's another look at it. It looked like Boudadi was able to put it down out of bounds there off the attempted tackle, but
oh boy.
A late whistle here, and Johnny Torres frustrated. You see here in slow motion now is Boudadi.
Did it come back off his knee?
Tough to see there if it bounded back off of Boudadi's knee, but it certainly made contact with the diving defender on the slide tackle, and frustrating crop of Blue Jays as Troston is removed from the game. So an important moment there in the final 90 seconds of regulation as Coach Torres still
Tor Troston was on the bench and was shown a red for coming onto the pitch, I believe.
You saw the entire Creighton bench erupt. Troston unable to contain himself, and Creighton in a tight spot here now in the final 90 seconds. Up ahead to Hawkinson now. Scoring opportunity for the Jays. Crosses over to the left into the middle, but no one home. Pass deflected out of harm's way. Well, Creighton now down to the final minute of regulation with its season potentially on the line. Polad now into the middle, looking for Hawkinson. Outside of the box for Boudadi. Trying to set up an angle. Into the middle. Contact out of bounds. And a corner kick coming for the Jays. Boudadi sets it up under 45 seconds to play. Now Polad will take over. Under 40, Paul Cruz comes into the mix to give the Jays an extra opportunity. Cruz with contact on the head, into the box, and off the side of the net. The Creighton Blue Jays unable to convert. A scary moment there for the Bulldogs as Cruz initially was able to head it toward the far post for contact there, but Creighton can't convert.
And that's going to do it. There's not going to be enough time to get down and create another chance for the Blue Jays after that opportunity. And Butler with the late penalty kick comes into Morrison Stadium and steals one from the home team. They don't lose very often here, the Blue Jays, but Butler has done it here in 2019.
1-0, your final score at Morrison Stadium. a frustrated batch of Blue Jays, Budati included, as the Bulldogs bark matching their bite throughout the match here, especially in the second half. And certainly a fantastic finish if you're a Butler fan. Scary moments throughout the final couple of minutes for Butler, but Creighton unable to convert. And Butler steals a win 1-0. We'll have more here from Morrison Stadium. Reaction from the Bulldogs is on the way next here in Omaha.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Back here in Omaha, Nebraska, as Butler has knocked off Creighton in the quarterfinals here of the Big East Conference Championships. Our own John Schreiner down on the field with the lone goal scorer tonight, Wilmer Cabrera Jr.
Thank you very much, Thor. Down here on the field with the goal scorer, Wilmer Cabrera Jr. Wilmer, you drew the foul that set up the free kick that you struck, that hit off the hand of a Blue Jay player, and then you converted the penalty. Do you think you should be credited with an assist as well as the goal in that play?
Well, I drew the foul, but it was actually my teammate Jacko who took the free kick. But I'd like to take the assist as well if I could, but I'm just glad I was able to score.
So late in this game, you're stepping to the penalty spot, a berth in the semifinals, potentially on the line. What's going through your mind at that moment?
No, I'm just excited to get that opportunity to score and obviously put my team, who's been working very hard, onto the next round against a tough opponent. And I was just thinking about the moment and where I was going to put it. So.
Coming into this game, you knew you had a tough one. You'd lost to this team just a week ago. What was the mindset coming in here, playing this team again on their home turf?
We just wanted to get revenge. We knew what we had to do, and we came in and we did it. So we're all happy.
Well, now you get another date with the number one team in the conference, the number one team in the RPI in the country in Georgetown. How you feeling heading into that match as you head to D.C.?
We're really excited. We know we got to work hard. It's a tough team. We already played them. But, yeah, we just got to be smart, be focused, and be ready for the game.
Well, congratulations on the win, and best of luck in the semifinals.
Thank you.
Wilmer Cabrera, the goal scorer tonight for the Butler Bulldogs.
Yeah, thanks, John. As you see Cabrera joining his team, Coach Paul Snape and company excited about this huddle here after a win in Omaha, avenging that loss 1 week ago here to the Creighton Blue Jays. An opportunity for Butler to play itself into the NCAA tournament. They'll continue in the semifinals on Wednesday in Washington, D.C. That's a noon start time in Central Time at Georgetown. But a great matchup here in Omaha. Does not go the Blue Jays' way. The home team falls to the Bulldogs 1-0. Creighton will have to wait it out for NCAA tournament hopes, while the Bulldogs could have played their way in tonight. There's your game-winning goal. Thanks for watching here on the Big East Digital Network. For John Schreiner and everyone behind the scenes here in Omaha, have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you later this week.